herself as a Peace Corps volunteer turned vampire who spent 20 years anchoring news on live TV. And she's now helping executives, teams, and ordinary people communicate.
She spent much of that time co-anchoring with none other than Phil Sanchez. So she and I are simpatico, honey. We've been through the fight together. She's none other than Paige Faley, keynote speaker, facilitator, and MC, who can help all of us become stronger, more confident public speakers, and honestly, just all around wonderful people. Paige, thanks for kicking it with us a little bit.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I deal with people's two biggest fears, right? Public speaking and Phil Sanchez for more than 5 minutes. I mean, if I can help people survive all of that, what can't we do, right?
Do you still have your hearing? Because you know our boy is loud.
Love him to death. Love him to death.
Well, listen, you know, where do most people go wrong when it comes to standing up in front of a crowd and doing their thing?
Oh boy, I mean, where do we get started? Look, it's a big deal to get up in front of people and be able to impart information, right? And not everybody wants to do it. And I know some people watching right now might be thinking, I don't want to give a TED Talk. I'm not going to get up on stage and do a speech. But my point with this is that if you are opening your mouth in a public area, and now after the pandemic, if you are opening your mouth at your own home on a Zoom, we are all doing public speaking, right? So whether you want to give a speech on stage at a TEDx or a toast at a wedding, or you just want to be more comfortable standing up in the boardroom or talking on a Zoom to your people at work, we can all be more comfortable doing that and more confident. And one of the biggest things that people do wrong, to your point, like you asked, is using boring visuals. We have to remember we have our content that we're wanting to get across, right? But we also have what we're going to use to kind of judge things a little bit. PowerPoint is a big part of that for a lot of people. I know you have probably seen many PowerPoints when you've given presentations, right? I mean, you work in TV, you use visuals all the time. So I'm going to give one quick rule for PowerPoints for anyone outside of TV who is using visuals when they speak. And that's the rule of 5, okay? Never put more than 5 words per line, never put more than 5 lines per text, and never have more than 5 slides in a row that are text heavy, and you will help your audience stick with you in terms of a lively visual component to whatever your talk is.
That's good.
I'm already more intrigued.
Right?
So how do you choose what to talk about and what to include?
Well, it depends on what your topic is and what your setting is. As I mentioned, maybe you have the opportunity to do a TED Talk. Maybe you just want to speak up at the conference coming up for work, okay? So 3 things you can do to help yourself sort of hone in on what it is that you want to talk about. One question you can ask yourself is, what is a quiz I would give my listeners afterwards? If I wanted to ask them a 3 to 5 question quiz, what are the most important points I would want them to come away with? Another thing you can do once you have that content all together, some people aren't going to like this, okay? You have what you think you want to say, cut out about 25% of it. The reason for that is people think when they get on stage, they're going to go blank, their mind will go blank, and they won't have anything to say. But what actually happens is people ramble until they get to what it is they remember they were trying to say. If you cut out about 25%, you will probably land about where you want to be time-wise. And if you're early, you leave time for question and answer periods. The last thing you can do for your audience, this is something stand-up comedians do spectacularly well, is to tie your message in a bow. So a stand-up comedian starts off their piece, they tell one joke, and then they talk for an hour, right? And somehow that last joke comes back and ties back, it's called a callback, to that first part. If you're able to find a common thread with whatever you're talking about, whether it's for 30 seconds or 30 minutes, if you can tie it in a bow for your audience, it just gives it a little chef's kiss. A+ for you.
Come on, and then we can be like Salt Bae. We like to see it. So, okay, when I speak publicly, I want my content to pop, to make a lasting impact. How do you suggest that speakers do that?
So I always like to tell people, when you are getting up in front of people, try to remember you are helping the audience to enjoy your company. You're there together, right? You want to have a good time. They're going to learn from you. You're going to learn from them. And one of the best ways to do that is to make yourself approachable. Now, I don't know. I'm sure you ladies have never had this feedback, okay? I'm not saying I have, but I'm saying I've heard of it. If you're familiar with the term RBF, won't say exactly what it stands for. It stands for resting face, and we can just fill in the blanks, right, as we will. If you've ever been given feedback that maybe your listening or your thinking face is not as approachable as it could be, this is for you. But it's also for anyone who just wants to up their energy. I call this penergy, giving yourself some penergy. If you have a pen, do this with me, okay, at home. And Kayla and Alexis, you can do it with me too if you want to. And if not, I have a pen. You can use your hand if you want to, or just kind of follow along, okay?
Okay.
So what you're going to do Take your pen and put it in between your teeth. Do not let your lips touch your pen at all. And we're going to count up to 10 and back down to 1. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your pen out, or whatever it was that was in your mouth. What are you all doing right now?
I'm smiling.
If you did it.
There we go.
Exactly. You are smiling. Studies show that if you put the muscles in your face into the shape of a smile, endorphins get released into your brain, whether you were feeling that emotion beforehand or not. It's a way to trick your brain into happiness. It's a way to give yourself a little bit of energy, and it's a way to kind of come alive for your audience when you only have 10 to 15 seconds before you hit the stage to do that.
I love it.
That was really cool.
With the 1-2 punch. I like it.
And viewers can get more useful information by heading to your website. What was that?
Pagefailing.com. It's just page like page in a book, PAGEFEHLING.com.
Well, Paige, please come back anytime, and we might just give you Phil back. You never know.
I'm crazy enough to take him, too. Thank you so much for having me.
See you.